Hello and welcome to Christmas at Retro 70s Kid. Well, my God, it's only a week to Christmas. And have you had that dread, that feeling of dread at the pit of your stomach coming up to Christmas? I got that yesterday, sitting there thinking, oh my God, tomorrow is a week to Christmas and I've still got so much to do. But I just decided to just chill, so to wash over me, because there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to happen. So if the same thing's happening to you, just chill, you'll be fine. So now tonight's show, sorry, I'm stuttering a bit tonight, I don't know why. So on tonight's show, I'm going to do some Christmas trees past and some Christmases past. Because I wanted to do another Christmas show. So in this little gorgeous little box here, with one of my trees in it, I've got a stack of photos I'm going to show you. Well, not all of these. Starting from the 70s, because I don't have any really old photos of me or the old aluminium Christmas tree, because I could have sworn there was. It must be false memory. In my head, I can see photos of me and a baby in mum or dad's arms with the Christmas tree in the background, but they don't exist apparently. So starting from the 70s, this is in Bermagui, where we used to go mostly every Christmas to my auntie Des's place, my mum's sister. And it was a very country Christmas. It was a coastal town, they were all fishermen, and it was usually real trees. But this year, this is before they did the real tree, they actually had a little tin tree, aluminium tree in the background. These early photos are terrible, they're not very clear, I'm sorry. This is mum and dad in the early 70s with our little Chihuahua Chiquita with the Christmas tree in the background, starting off small. And this is a terrible photo because my thumb is in the way, but that was probably a year later or something with a live tree. Very sparsely decorated. They only had a little container of very light decorations and some tinsel and stuff. They didn't do Christmas big at all, much to my dismay. Now this is Christmas 1975 on the Polaroid Instamatics. This is me 75 at the Christmas table in Bermagui. Now, I've shown this photo before because that look on my face is because the year I got my $6 million man doll. And the little story that goes with this, I wanted it desperately, was hoping Santa was going to bring it for me. So Christmas Eve, because there were so many people staying in the at Auntie Des's place, she had a great big long caravan and like a Lucille Ball long trailer in the backyard. And we would stay in that. And this Christmas Eve night, Christmas morning, I put my Santa sack beside the bed in the caravan and went to sleep and could hardly sleep, but I think I drifted off for a while. And when I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning, I rolled over and the Santa sack was full and I couldn't believe it. And I had a bit of a sneak peek and I thought I could see his little head in the box, in the pink Kenner box, kind of sticking up out of other stuff. And I snuck out of bed and I had a look, and the squeal of delight, I can't even emulate it now, but it was this girlish squeal, and I jumped up and down with the box, and the whole caravan started to shake, because I was a chubby kid. And this caravan shaking woke everybody up, thinking it was an earthquake, and there's a siren going past. Everyone thought it was an earthquake. They all wake up. Dad comes running out of the bedroom going, "What's going on?" And I'm standing there with this box. He says, "Gavin, what are you doing?" I said, "Santa's bin." He says, "Yes, I know, that's great, but it's too early. You've got to go back to bed." So I was allowed to have a quick little sneak and see what was in the sack, and then I had to go back to bed till I think around 6 o'clock, when I didn't go back to sleep, of course, but when we decided to sneak out of bed. So that was the story there. And these are a couple of photos of these are terrible photos again. This is mum and dad and me around that same day, Christmas Day, going out all dressed up. And it's because the clothes they're wearing, Dad looks like Mike Brady. That's not a perm, that's Dad's natural hair. He's got his flares and his funky shirt on. Mum's got this amazing caftan, and she had this pendant, this silver swirly pendant that she used to always wear. It was so 70s. And me in my velour top and jeans. And this Christmas tree in the 70s was back at our home in Chester Hill. This is one of those plastic trees that came fashionable after the aluminium trees went out of fashion. This was one of the plastic trees, all the branches went up, and they were had to individually put them in the trunk. And after a few years, the plastic became brittle and all the little plastic ends came off. But we had that for quite a few years until it just started to break. And that same tree, this is the late 70s. I think I was in high school. Maybe it's 1980. It's 1980 because I've got 2 video recorders. This is me about 15 playing with my Pac-Man machine. Remember those? I got that. And that's the plastic Christmas tree next to it, which I decorated. And we've got the 2 video recorders in the background with all the tapes Dad used to record, which was highly illegal at the time, but everybody did it. And we were the first ones in the street, and actually in my school, to get a video recorder in 79 actually. So I was the most popular kid in the school because I started to have video nights on a Friday, Saturday night, and have all my friends over. I was so shit hot, it was amazing. So, and this is later in the 80s when I was working. And this was the early 80s when I'd gotten my first job. And I went to David Jones and bought really expensive imported ornaments from Germany and Austria. And it was the new fashionable pink and purple with pink lights. The newest thing. They were doing very monochromatic schemes back then, all pink or all blue or all gold or whatever. And I had these decorations for quite a few years. This is the same tree again with the same decorations, but in a different house. I broke all these decorations when a cat I had in the 80s, in my first unit, climbed up the tree and it fell on the tiles and smashed. So most of those have gone. This is in the 80s as well when we had a live tree. First live tree, which I hated because all my decorations were far too heavy. And that's Mum and my niece and nephews back then. And that's just the view from that house. That's the view from my bedroom window. And that's our jetty. That was a beautiful place. And going into the 90s, this is late 90s, just before I did my visual merchandising course. And I think that was more of a purple theme. You can see some of my 90s decor. I wish I'd have shown you my inflatable furniture. I had a whole inflatable lounge suite back then. Don't need to see that or that. Running out of time. Sorry. That's just another one with all the presents under the tree, probably on Christmas Eve. I still like these cheap fold-out honeycomb foil ornaments. And that's just the banister at the place. Not very ornate, but that was like the first banister I ever decorated. And then into the early 2000s, we've got this unit where I just moved into this place nearly about 20 years ago. It's all different furniture, it's a different tree, and that again is a pink and purple scheme. And that same year, oh look at this, look at the television I had, look at the size of that. That was a monster. Now, that year I decorated the lanai. I made this palm tree, I attached it to one of the posts of the carport. I was so proud of that. And it was more of a carport than a lanai back then. That's some of the other decorating I did. And I also did the other post as well. It was quite beautiful. And then a couple of years later, I got a brand new tree with silver and black decorations. I was trying to be very funky and modern, but I actually didn't like it at all. It was too bland. I liked it at the time, but looking back on it, no, I didn't. And I don't know if you can see this. That's the room with the silver. And this is my brother, mum and dad, and my brother, sister, mum and dad and me. With the tree there. And that was probably one of the last photos I ever actually took and actually got a print out. Oh, and that's just a photo of me 20 years ago when I thought I was fat. How funny. And then that's it. That's kind of all the photos I've got of my Christmas trees past. How's your week been leading up to, very quickly, that's me in high school when I won second prize in a fancy dress costume as a Mexican. And I had I took a bottle of tequila out of Dad's bar, this bar I've got, and it had this much tequila in the bottom. And I didn't think twice, put it in this basket of chilies, and the teacher came and sniffed it and maybe, sniffed my breath to make sure I wasn't drinking it. I nearly got into a lot of trouble. But that was just an innocent thing, Anyway, this is a week to Christmas. I hope you have a lovely, stress-free Christmas, whatever you do, whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah or one of those other things that people celebrate these days, I don't. But anyway, have a lovely Christmas, have a lovely New Year. This will be my last show for the year because we film on Friday nights and edit and upload on Saturdays, which takes hours. Now I'm learning to do it. We can't do it next weekend because that's New Year, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then the following is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So we'll be back probably 3 weeks from now. So have a lovely holiday, have a lovely break. Hope you get lots of lovely prezzies. And thank you and good night.